Hey everyone, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life. Welcome back to Quilters Vibe. This is the series that Sarah Scraps and Daisy Scraps do, and I join in every once in a while. And I actually picked this quilt. It was a Disney theme, and I love Disney, but I really know that Sarah loves it, so I kind of challenged us to work with it, and we're doing it for this month. It was kind of exciting to do something that I had chose, because normally I just play along with what they choose, so this one was kind of fun. However, I had once I picked it and I went to work with it, I didn't have that much of an idea of what I was doing, other than the fact that that it's princess themed. I'm using the photo I tried to use a while back of my daughter watching her very first Disney movie, and I love the photo so much. It's so sweet. It's it's a shot of the back of her head looking at the castle. And so I'm going to try to follow the sketch. The pattern and the quilt. My first thought was I was going to do little strips of pattern paper around the edge, which really caught my eye in the quilt, but you're going to find it doesn't actually turn out to work like that. I had also happened to find my missing bag of sequins on this day. So if you haven't watched my live video about my December daily, I know you've heard me talk about it multiple times that I lost my gigantic bag of Spiegelmom scrap sequins and how much I missed them. Well, I finally found them. So I was so excited that I was like, I have to do I have to do something. So I picked 3 of the diamonds here, and I am going to go ahead and very confusingly create some sequence page pockets, shaker things. Now, I am not the person to follow to create shaker pockets. I never remember what I'm doing. I always do it. It takes me a few times, and they're never like perfect. So I'm definitely not the one to follow for that. Go on to the Spiegelmom Scraps YouTube and follow them and how they do them. They're the ones that know what they're doing. Don't follow me. But my idea was I wanted to use some tissue paper and some sequins. I have this beautiful one that I think fairy tales, mermaids and fairy tales, or unicorns and fairy tales. I'm not sure, but I don't think it's a mix that's actually even still in the shop, but it's so pretty. Definitely a girly one of my favorites. It matched the line that I'm using. I'm using a line from Echo Park that I received as a beautiful gift from a friend that every year she sends one lucky person a bunch of cut files and some stuff, and I happened to be the person she picked. So I was very touched and grateful for her taking the time to do that, and she sent me a ton of goodies that I have hardly even touched because I've actually kind of just been staring at them, trying to get some good ideas on how I'm going to use them because they're all so pretty, and so they haven't been touched. So I'm finally using the little mini collection she sent me to use, and that is how I'm going to go ahead and create those little shaker pockets there. And then I back everything with one more sheet of pattern, just white cardstock. I wanted it to be a white back and keep the paper a little bit sturdier, so it's backed pretty decently. I was willing to sacrifice a piece of white cardstock to do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and go through the entire paper pack collection and decide which ones I want to use. Besides the pink one that's already there, I knew I had to use this beautiful one with the carriage. It's so pretty. I love that. And I knew I was using that one, and then everything else I just kind of randomly found and placed them where I thought they're going to go. And it just kind of all works out the way I wanted it to. The only thing is so this is where maybe if you're a little bit more type A, and you need to do things where everything matches up, you probably should measure and get the midpoint and find where the middle diamond should be and all of that. I didn't do that. I just randomly placed them, traced them, and then cut. So they are not evenly spread throughout my layout. So at the very top, which you'll see closer to the end, there's really two big white spaces where you could place some more diamonds if you wanted to. I thought about it, but I decided against it. I like the bit of white space that it brings. It's a little bit of a resting spot to your eye, although I'm sure most people will look at it and be like, something's missing there, but I just kind of went with it. And B, you know what? I like the idea that in this quilt, how it's a big diamond in the middle, and then there's like 4 kind of off to the side, and I was trying to represent that. And adding more pattern paper, especially in those 2 little white half diamonds there, triangles, would have taken away from that. And I didn't want to do that. So I'm going to just leave it and go with it. And it's just the way it is when you are not a type A type person and you don't measure and you just go with the flow. Sometimes that's how things end up. I'm not upset about it. I'm fine with it. Some other people, I'm sure it is driving you absolutely crazy that everything's kind of shifted down a little. So that just shows you my type of personality and how I am much more probably a type B. I'm a little bit more relaxed, and I don't I don't have to follow the rules like that. You know who it really makes me think of when I talk like that is Susanna Lee, and when she talks about how she has to do things and she's type A and she's like bold, underline, like that's just her. And so when I do stuff like this, I'm always like, I wonder if she looks at this and it drives her crazy because she is very much the complete opposite of me when it comes to having to have everything be lined up and match and everything. I don't care. She would care. So I find it fun and playful and silly. I'm also going to add my title here. I am going to call this Starting Her Love Young, and because that's what this is about. This is her very first movie. I grew up watching all the princess movies. I loved them. Little Mermaid is my personal favorite, and I just want her to be exposed to them, and then she can do with it as she will or she may. I am definitely not one to force things on my kids. If they don't like it, that's totally fine, just because it's my thing or Sean's thing or whatever. It doesn't have to be their thing. And so far she seems to be she's still really young, but she is just getting into wanting to play with like baby dolls and stuff. And of course I kind of have picked some Disney themed ones for her to play with. So we'll see if with over time, if my influence has anything to do with it or if she goes a completely different direction. It'll be fun to see what she decides she loves as she grows up. And then I also decide that as I'm kind of flipping through everything, that dark pink diamond up at the top there, I needed a place for journaling, and I wasn't exactly sure where it was going to go. And so I'm going to switch out that dark pink one for a journaling block that I kind of create. And I'm going to go ahead and put my journaling there, talking about how this is her first movie. It was Moana. She watched a little bit of it. I don't think she made it through the whole thing. This is July so this past summer. I really don't think she made it through the whole thing, but it was her first one. She did like the music, especially at the beginning. She was really into it. And then once the music kind of died down and you got more into the story, she kind of stopped and tuned out a little bit. But that's okay. And then I also added a few little pieces. So I put a crown on her head, of course, in gold. And then the little sticker that says Once Upon a Time. I had a difficult time embellishing this one, and I don't do a whole lot. I do go off camera and I add a few clouds to it and back my photo with some tissue paper, and that about does it. I don't do a ton. It doesn't need a lot with my shaker pockets, I feel. So I hope you enjoyed my take on this. It's very loose kind of take on the quilt, but it was fun to create, and I'm excited to get it in her album. Please go check out Daisy's take. I love hers. It's so pretty. And Sarah's, because Sarah's is so much different. It's so unique compared to what Daisy and I did, and I love it. So please make sure to head on over and check those out if you haven't already. There's a look at my finished layout, and I will see everyone soon with another layout. Thanks everyone so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!